Hi, my name's Nicola Thomas and I'm doing my PhD here at the Centre for Technology Entrepreneurship at DTU, and I'm interested in how emotions and well-being affects entrepreneurs and startup teams. New technology advancements are changing the way that founders are developing products and transforming how they actually are entrepreneurs. Yet they haven't changed the way that we're researching founders. This has really important real-world applications as we come to terms with things like burnout and stress, and as we analyze well-being in the workplace. Now we can use more unbiased data with biometric advancements and AI facial expression analysis to understand how these things play out for founders in the workplace. So we know that being a founder is incredibly stressful, but with these new technology advancements, we can integrate that into how we work. For example, using a biometric watch, we can be prompted if we're doing shallow breathing and we're stressful at work to start doing some meditation for a few minutes, and this real-time data will transform how founders operate in their day-to-day life. A long-standing issue with business management or entrepreneurship research is that we don't directly measure emotions. This means that our data is systemically prone to bias and stigma. Instead of measuring how people are feeling, we're asking them, how do you feel today? People generally downplay when they feel depressive episodes at work. Now with technology advancements, we can directly measure emotional responses. We can do this through galvanic skin response and heart rate measurements, as well as facial expression analysis. This is important for practice as we understand what part of entrepreneurship is the most stressful. Is it pitching? Is it getting funding? This is great as we progress our research, as we can have more practice-oriented recommendations for founders. We've made some really important and interesting discoveries so far. The first is that it's less important what founders are talking about, but more important how they're talking, especially in a team environment. It doesn't matter if they're debating how to get funding or product development. What matters is how they're talking to each other. A second finding was that not everyone responds to the same thing in the same way. We recorded founders talking to investors, and we found that, according to the feedback from the investor, some founders were energized and others were depressed. This is important as we can give more tailored and specific information to founders about how to deal with negative feedback. There are two important benefits for our research. The first is for accelerators and companies. When they start to integrate more technology and our research into their day-to-day management, what they'll find is there'll be a reduction in the stigma when we're talking about mental health and ill mental health in the workplace. The second important benefit is for the entrepreneurs in our study. As they've been able to see their own stress and emotional well-being in real-time data for the first time, it's helped them to understand themselves more on their entrepreneurial journey. It's helped them to understand what energizes or potentially depresses them as they're going through starting their new venture. This research has important impacts for the future. Emotions and well-being are just starting to become mainstream in our conversation about working practices. But through this research and new technologies, we can shift the conversation from asking, are emotions important at work, to how can we harness emotions to increase productivity and entrepreneurial innovation? Given the significant cost of mental health and burnout in the workplace, I see the normalization of receiving real-time information about our physiological stress and emotions integral to improving mental health at work. There are a number of important strategies that will be integrated with this technology in the workplace. For example, being reminded to take a deep breath when we've reached cognitive load, or other techniques to calm ourselves down when we're feeling stressed. This is integral as we understand more how to manage stress in the workplace. We need to go further in encouraging both young and more experienced scholars in integrating AI as a research method. This has important implications as we access new, rich and incredible data sources. Long-term, I see this research helping to destigmatize emotions at work, placing humanity at the center of startups and business.